The Bitcoin bottom is in. The Bitcoin bottom is in is what my emotions are saying. Some things in the charts are agreeing. Some major things are disagreeing. In this video, I'm going to use a few tools, 3 of which can only be found on this channel and nowhere else on the entire internet / the world. One of them is sitting right behind me. So in this video, I'm going to show you what is against it, what is for it, so you can decide for yourself. But in my opinion, in regard to when somebody could say with some level of confidence is the bottom in, it's going to be one line to rule them all. And that is also going to only be found on my channel. Get ready to get some Bitcoin. Let's get this. This is a 4-day chart of Bitcoin. These are my quote unquote proprietary ribbons. And as you can see here, the magic gray line has gotten the bottoms of each, I guess, bottom cycle in Bitcoin. You can see the 20K top, 2017, so on and so forth. These are for your reference, perhaps for newer folks who get maybe disoriented within a chart. I'm going to dive into each of these sections where price touched the magic gray line, and then we'll save this one for last. This is the first tool we're going to use. Here we go, no delay. This is back in 2015. This is January 2015. This is August 2015. Take a look right there, magic gray line. Support, support. Let's zoom out. Keep on trucking. Let's go to the next one. The bottom of 3,200 in late 2018, early 2019. The capitulation started on November 14th and price dropped roughly 50% down to here. And you can see how price interacted with this magic gray line and zoomed right back up into the ribbons. All right, coronavirus did not close a single 4-day candle below, let alone open and close. And the amount of time that price was down here was fairly minuscule. All right, it was a very, very fast price action and it was bought right back up. So this is, if you're on the 1-minute chart and zoom into that, if you could go back that far on a 1-minute chart, it wouldn't look like support necessarily. However, on larger time frames, clearly support. All right, now, what will even make this clearer is current price action. And again, each of these candles are 4 days. One thing to note is, we're getting ready to potentially, so there are 3 days left of this 4-day candle, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 in a row has happened, I think, counted right before this. It might be 4 or 5 times in Bitcoin history. It might be 6, but it happens less than once a year on average. So this is not, this doesn't look too bad so far, especially now that a 4-day candle has closed above what was obviously resistance. All right, broke below it, got above it, tried to use it as support, did not. Another lower high, fell even lower, lower low, and now it's charging up. Could this be another failure pattern? Absolutely, but something has changed. Stocks are going down and Bitcoin is going up. All right. Now, that is a perfect freaking segue to the second tool that you can only find on this channel. And I actually would hope that you copy it because you can see on the screen kind of how you can see 4-day here. Just copy what you see there and use the chart for yourself as well. So this is another fairly bullish thing that I'm getting ready to show you. Does this say the bottom is in right behind us? No. However, this is one piece of the puzzle. All right. So this is evidence for, this isn't saying the bottom's in, but this is saying, it's got a damn good chance. Okay, it's got a chance right now, but if it goes back below this line, then that chance is over. So this is essentially saying this, let's use this as a threshold for now. If you see Bitcoin do something like this with 4-day candles and come back below, well, you might want to watch out for a much lower low compared to 17,500. So let's go to another bullish chart that you can go ahead and copy. As we're diving into that, make sure to check out the Discord links on the description sections of all my videos. Cosasverdes with the number 2 on Twitter, and the YouTube tiers have their own exclusive benefits. Go ahead and hit the join button right next to the subscribe button down below, and a video with pirates and skeletons will pop up telling you what you get. So let's go take a look at this other chart that a lot of my VIPs are kind of digging because it has been pretty helpful. Here we go. Yeah, a lot of my Discord and YouTube community are asking, hey, how do you make this chart? Well, look there. See, that's all it is, okay? All right. And if you're not able to do that by yourself, for my Cryptillion, for all of my think all of my YouTube tier, both YouTube tiers and the whole Discord community, I have copied. I've made it so you can copy and paste that on multiple occasions within the daily updates, and even I think in one tutorial section. All right, so check this chart out. I'm gonna go to a smaller time frame. Let's say the 4-hour chart. I will take off my sexy long-term ribbons here. And you can see here that this is Bitcoin versus the stock market, namely SPX, all right, squared technically. So it's more finicky. And you know what? I mean, this is a 140-day consolidation and it is getting ready to break. So once it breaks above this orange area here, what that means is I think that is a pivot when the bottom being in is more probable, only because that one trigger has happened. So I'm gonna get ready to show you a trigger that you might find somewhere else, but it is also my line that you probably won't find somewhere else, but it's on a very common chart that's used in stocks. So I've been ranting and raving the whole time for probably months now that the bottom stocks and Bitcoin can't be in until this, such and such, the equator line has been touched. So let's go keep, stacking these evidences and how they weave in and out with each other. Here we go. Before I do though, just an explanation. Bitcoin going up as the stock market going, so this chart going up as stocks go down means Bitcoin goes sideways as stocks go down. Does that make sense? So if this can break out, the next time the stocks have just a normal bear market rally, I mean, Bitcoin would fly up. It would very likely go over 25K, especially if it were to break above here before the next bear market rally in the stock market. I mean, this would mean some serious stuff. Has that happened? Is it going to happen? It definitely hasn't happened yet, but it's a chart to watch because it's breaking above, very recently and aggressively, days ago. Big resistance. It's consolidating inside of it, and on top of it, it's getting ready to come up here, folks. It looks like it's getting ready to charge up here. And even if stocks go down, that would probably just make this chart break out faster. I'm not gonna lie. Stocks going down might actually help Bitcoin at this point. So here's the magic line. That is another item that you'll only find on my channel. I've been talking about this for quite a while. This is the most important straight line in all of NASDAQ composite futures. And it's the equator line. You can see for point of relativity, stock market boom or bust, I guess. And I had been saying that Bitcoin will not bottom. It's not even cool to be talking about a Bitcoin bottom because Bitcoin is so related to this chart until this line is hit. I've been saying it, for months and months. And I'm going to count this as a hit. So right as this hit, since then, Bitcoin has been outperforming the market. And the whole magic thing with this is the first, I guess, possible point in my opinion. There's nothing, I'm not the king of Bitcoin, even though some people might think I am, but whatever. No one thinks I am. But I've been making the assertion that Bitcoin cannot disconnect itself from price movement of the stock market until that's it. It's been hit, and now Bitcoin's going up versus the stock market. Kind of makes you scratch your head there. Because I've literally been talking about this for a while. And right as it happens, that's when an aggressive trend up versus the stock market happens. Whew. So all this stuff is going for Bitcoin. Again, this is NASDAQ composite futures. All right. And all of this stuff is happening at once, and it's getting pretty exciting. So I've shown you 3 things that go together that are saying, you know what, the trend, it might be ready to reverse. However, calm your tits, cool your tits, grab the ice cubes, calm down. I haven't covered a fairly damning one straight line that you won't find anywhere else. It's not the most important straight line in Bitcoin, but it's a very important line for Bitcoin right now that goes all the way to the origin of price. So let's go see how that can complicate things and why I think it's the one line to rule them all. You ready? All right. We're going to go to a 2-day time frame. And again, I have a tutorial on how to set up origin lines just like mine on my Discord. It's in the Cryptillion tutorial section. All right. In general, I'm going to ignore bull markets because the rule, how price interacts with all these lines, and again, origin lines only found on, this is one of the exclusive things you can't find anywhere else. So I'm trying to give you an analysis that you won't see anywhere else. Hopefully you appreciate that, right? Outside of my repeating it so many times, but I'm just letting you know which things are mine and which aren't. So I'm not going to be focusing on upward trends. Rather, the rule I'm going to show you that's only been broken once here on a fabricated bear trap, it's only ever been broken once, is during down trends, okay? And essentially, when price goes, just pick a line, this one. Once it goes below there and gets rejected, more than 5-minute candles, perhaps wicking past. But on daily charts, 2-day charts, once you go below and or use it as resistance, you have to touch the next line down before you even have a chance to get back up the line that you just went under. It's only been broken once in clearly fabricated price action that closed a weekly strategically for whales below the weekly 55 EMA to fake people out one more time before blasting off to 69K. That's the only time it's been broken. That was around July of 2021, okay? All right, if you want an example of this, how this works, we will start here real quick so you can see this kind of play out here. So let's pick that. This is in 2018 when people still believed Bitcoin, and me included at this time. I was a noob. So this is like when Tim Cosas was a noob right here. I entered somewhere in September, over maybe even a little farther over. Somewhere over. I think it was like Bitcoin was like in the 2000s or 3000s when I got in crypto. Anyway, so going below one line, you can't get back above it until you hit the next line up. It's just, it doesn't happen. Besides once. All right, so let's take a look. It went 2 down. So it broke this line, went 2 down, trying to get above this. Did it have permission? Yeah, because it touched more than the next one down. It did have permission technically to get above there and keep going, potentially. It had permission at least. Uh-oh, broke down. Got back above again. Uh-oh, broke down. So at that breakdown, at this candle particularly, strong 2-day candle, you knew that this line had to be touched before you can go back up. And what did it do? It touched that line perfectly. Okay? All right, let's keep going. So we're just seeing the live results of this rule. Now that you've gone below, at this exact moment, this is a little bit more fun to see on lower time frames, but I'm going pretty far back in time, so I need to use larger time frames. So now, at this moment, it's been used as resistance, and the daily candle, the 2-day candle came back down here. So on 1-hour chart, that's clear resistance. So you can't pass this line and touch, you can't rally past this to touch this one until that's hit. So this line can't be hit until that's hit because it went below this one. Does that make sense? You do have permission to do a failure pattern like this to make a lower high to the previous one. That is that's within the rule book. See, failure pattern right there. But it doesn't have permission to go up to here until this line is touched. All right. There you go. Line is touched. Let's slow down the damn speed. There we go. All right. It's flirting with the line. Uh-oh. So it touched that line. It does have permission to try to play with this one because it based off of here. Right? So following the rules. Uh-oh. Got above. Uh-oh, went below and got rejected. Now it has to come touch this line again or worse. Follow the rules. Actually, at that point, it could have made higher lows, I guess. So that's technically not true. That example is not accurate because it was in an uptrend. Sorry. Once you hit this and establish an uptrend, if you get rejected, you technically can get above if you make a higher low because you formed an uptrend on a large time frame. So I apologize. So they did have permission to keep going after this candle because you formed an uptrend, right? All right, here we go. But now that a downtrend has been established, now this needs to be touched before you can get above this line, all right? Boom, touch that line. Here we go. Boom, went below it. Gonna use it as resistance. Gonna use it as resistance, resistance, resistance. Boom. Now you have to touch this line before you can have a big pump that goes, like a failure pattern above here. There is not permission to do it without touching it. So what did price do? Okay, we can't go higher. Okay, let's touch this line first. Boom. Now we can try going up. Try the little caboose that could, or the engine that could. And so we touched this line, which gave us permission to touch this one. All right. Well, now you definitely could get rejected from here, form a higher low. So if it goes past this wick here, then it has to touch this line here. because that would be breaking higher low structure, if we can call that a higher low right here, which it kind of looks like one. It probably was on the daily or the 4. It definitely was on the 4 hour, but anyway, here we go. But it couldn't do it. It broke that low. Now it has to touch this line before it can try again. It just has to. Boom. And it got rejected. So now you're in a downtrend. Now the rule states the best you can do without touching this line is to do a failure pattern, roughly a lower high to this one. Usually on a 45-degree angle like this, okay? Usually. Or less. Some of the failure patterns are pretty low. They only go like this and come back down. But let's see what happened here. I actually don't know off the top of my head. And it was, yeah, that's a lower high on a 45-degree angle. Yep, it did do it. So check it out. Okay, are we appreciating these rules yet? A lot of people, I've explained this a few times, but I've never thought to show it live. All right, so now that it's gone below this line again, the second time, all right, it's already done one failure pattern. Technically, it could come up and get rejected, but before you can get above this line to touch this one, it has to touch this line or lower. It's just the way price works. Damn, that went. Oh yeah, this is the point where Bitcoin went sideways, very sideways for I think 200 and some days. Boom, went below, got rejected. Straight down to the next one. This was capitulation. Oh no. And since it went below and got rejected on this candle, the best it can do is a failure pattern or a rejection, right? Because it has to touch this line now. It has to. Without traditional finance algorithms fabricating price for a fake out, which has only been done once to break an origin line rule, which was Wyckoff in 2021, right? There you go. Now you touched it. Now you can go touch the next line up and you could possibly take off at that point, right? Okay, so this is where Bitcoin then raced up to $14,000. All right, so we've just seen the rules play out. This is what we're going to cover. So right now, price has dipped below an origin line and hasn't touched the next one down. That's the one damning thing about, thinking the bottom's in. All right, so we're going to zoom into that. But before we do, I want to go back to 2015 to show you two examples that are by far the most similar to what Bitcoin is doing now. And then we'll go to current price towards, these origin lines to investigate. All right, here we are. Still on the 2-day chart. I'm going to go back to these points right here. This is June of 2015, and this is October 2014. Sorry, they weren't both in 2015. October 2014 is the first one. Okay, here we are. Touched this line, got rejected, and you came halfway down, didn't touch this line, and you're rallying up. All right, so this rally, okay, this is fairly similar to what Bitcoin's done. Fairly. It's essentially trapped between a couple. However, this one touched the next one down. All right, so technically this isn't as quite as similar as what I was thinking because price did touch this. Therefore, if it kept an uptrend, which it barely made, no, it actually broke it right there. Ugh. Formed an uptrend right there on this candle closure. So on this candle closure, it technically had permission to reverse and go up above this line because you formed a you formed a low, higher, or lower high, lower low on a closure basis, higher high, higher low, which was confirmed by this closure here. But then it still broke down. But Bitcoin doesn't even have this permission because it hasn't touched this line yet. Right, so Bitcoin has recently broken below a line just like this, hasn't touched here. And even in the case it did touch, you had a big ass rally and it still broke down with permission to go higher, right? So this rally here went about 42%, all right? The next time it happened, where you went below an origin line, so origin line here, went below, resistance, came down, didn't. So this is actually the most similar by far. This is in May, June 2015. Broke below resistance, and you went halfway down without ever touching this line. Not even down here, did you? Right? It didn't have permission to stay above this line. The most it can do is a failure pattern. It does not have permission, right? And check it out. How big of a rally was it? Roughly the same number. 42 versus 43%. Might be like 1.75% different, but both rallies were 42%. All right, so what did it do? Finally came down to get permission, right? And it scooped below it, respected the hell out of this line for how long? Damn, for 56 days and then took off. Okay, so let's jump into current price action. Oh, wrong one. Wait, is this can't be, right? Oh, because I have the replay and I was gonna say, what the hell is going on? All right, how do I turn this replay off? All right, here's normal price. I just confused myself, everybody, shut up. I was gonna say, that actually kind of, I was thinking, when I saw that, I was like, wait, that should count as a touch. That was close enough. And then obviously it was because that was the bottom. But anyway, of that cycle. I was gonna say, oh shit, I just planned this video and I messed up. All right, here we go. So currently, now that we've built appreciation for these rules, this is a 140-day consolidation period, as we've covered on my channel quite a bit. Touched this origin line, so this counts as a touch. It's close enough. Technically had permission to go above here. Did not. Went below, failure pattern. Once you close back below, you have to touch this line before you can break above this line. There is not permission to go above this line more than a failure pattern. The next line down needs to be touched. And we just formed appreciation for this. We see that the rules work. We see that origin lines, I mean, they're pretty damn cool. And again, I honestly don't know why they work and how they work, but technically that's irrelevant because they work. And they're just straight lines for kind of like Bitcoin bumpers. They're the bumper pads. All right, so Bitcoin, 42% rally from the wick low. Let's check it out. Right there. Would this be, so let's go like this, 42. So if it takes its time, so what is that? What is this called? If we're assuming that this is resistance, which it is, obviously, very macro resistance, right? Because you cannot get more macro than origin lines. There's nothing more macro because it goes back to the beginning of price, right? This is called a failure rejection pattern or just a failure pattern, but it often comes kind of double. It either gets rejection, higher low, failure, then dumps, or failure rejection pattern, but this might be what happens. This is a 42% rally, and that would take Bitcoin almost 26K. If it took its sweet time to get there, this would all happen in November. That's the end of November if it takes that long. Which getting all the way up there, it easily could. And it still needs to touch this line down here, which technically could mean the bottom's in. It really could. So let's look at what that would mean. Look at this. So if it did take its time to do this bullish, I mean, just big ass move here. Failure pattern, come back down, boom, boom, maybe a big another rally, boom, 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 wick below, get on top, okay? It finally hit this line. So now it has permission to reverse. Macro, right? Is that so if it were to reverse from here, would the bottom be in? Let's take a look. Yes, that would be 20K. So it wouldn't be going below 17.5. So this metric right here, or what we're looking at here is, it's not saying the bottom's not in. So it neither says the bottom's in or the bottom is not in. It doesn't say that. All it is saying is this line needs to be touched before we can know. That's it. This line being touched isn't really that important. It will be important if price gets up there, because once it's above, you're going to be looking for it to come back down and get rejected. Then you're going to have a nice tradable move. Like, you're going to be able to trade down for a while until it hits this line, because it would very likely hit this line, right? So it could still follow rules and the bottom's in. And along with the other three pieces of information, there is a lot of stuff brewing that says, the momentum's up. And the important thing about the NASDAQ composite chart is And again, I personally don't feel the bottom's in from I don't think it's 50% likely or greater, although it's getting kind of close to 50%. I'd put it at 33 to 40 right now. But it's saying that it could be in by following rules. And the point that we're going to know is most likely here. It is possible that another rule is broken, the rule is broken for the second time ever in Bitcoin price history. So it's possible that this line is what dictates the bottom, the bottom is in or isn't in, because the price get above here and hold it and then start taking off towards the next one. I'm going to say the bottom's in, right? Plus it's a big ass horizontal at 25K. I guess, if you can get it to 25K and hold it as support from a horizontal standpoint, even that probably means the bottom could be in as well. So this upcoming, I guess, part of the bear market, it's going to be freaking interesting. It's going to be exceptionally interesting with these two lines. So if you want to be able to guide yourself by using the rules of these easily built lines, again, right on my Discord Cryptillion, or on my Discord in the Cryptillion tutorial section, I show you like a very detailed edited, so it takes out all my ands and ums and all those stupid things I might say in a video that's not edited. It's very efficient, straight to the point. It zooms in edited video so you can get things down to the 1 minute wicks, so you can get things precisely if you want to use these lines. And again, go ahead and check out the Discord if that is something you want to do. And I think I also supplied that single tutorial video to my YouTube tiers as well. And again, what do you think? Leave me a comment in the down below. And if you're new, hit subscribe, hit the bell for all alerts. Click this video right here if you want to see what it's like in 1 minute, see what it's like to be in the Discord community on a live video voice chat. And click this video link right here. It's actually a playlist. If you want to see the most important crypto videos I've ever made, you just got Tim about Worldwide.